Alright friends, we'll continue with the purchase process. Here, I want to connect with PostgreSQL. I defined two PostgreSQL databases, OUTDB and USERPROFILE.db. We'll be working with these. Let's move to Auth Service. First, we'll write the code in the Auth Service, and then we'll connect it. Now here. Of course there are shortcomings in their dependencies, friends, so what I mean by missing is this. Here. Firstly, in the implementation section, org.spring. The other one is PostgreSQL. This is the org.PostgreSQL database. PostgreSQL. This version escaped. Let's see for now. We can find it here, friends. And let's see what's latest on PostgreSQL in web repository. Let's come here to 4273. There's version 4273. Let's refresh this and add its dependency as well. Friends, properties is not really something that I personally prefer or find ideal. YML is certainly more practical and much easier to work with, my dear friends. Let's proceed to delete this as well, without further delay. Set the server port to 90. Now here, we'll connect PostgreSQL. How? Spring. Spring data source. Of course, to a URL address. What we're going to connect here is the driver class name. Then username, host, address. My password is also root, that's interesting. I just can't seem to type it. Yeah. Then I take the same thing from here. Inside our user profile, from refactor rename, I make it YMD and do the same for this one. Added it. This will be 9081, not OUTDB. It's user profile DB. That's how it's going to be, guys. Now we've also configured the settings related to the databases. We forgot everything here. Not data source, but Java Consumer. Hibernate DDL auto configuration of the Jakarta Persistence API. I'm leaving it as update so I can see the configuration to check if anything is being added or not. That's why I added this here too, guys. These details have been completed as is. Now, let's move on. Let's quickly add our basic operations here. Ms. Buju, I'm adding entity.out. Add my long annotations here. TVL out. I'm adding an ID here. String. Username. String password. These are enough. Get an email address. String email. That's enough. Now, here, interface repository.out. Out repository, extend JPL repository, here out one day long. That's enough. We'll save it. Just. Here, this is out is. Let's add out service. Let it be like this. Repository return for repository.save. Out.email. .username. .password. Password. Here, I'll be saving this and returning it. Guys, that's all for the process, nothing else. I'm not doing it now. Here I'll do it this way. Out.out equals. I'll take this here. What I'm returning here will be out. That's enough for me. Guys, let's add our controller here as well. Controller.outController. Here, we will add a REST controller. Then, we will add a request mapping here as /out. Following that, we will add the required arguments constructor. Then, within our class structure, we proceed to declare a private final instance of our Auth service, which we name Auth service. This ensures that our service dependency is properly initialized and readily available for use. Following this, we define a public method that returns a response entity specifically designed to encapsulate our response, and we'll call this method nice4now, indicating a successful operation. Subsequently, we will apply the post mapping annotation directly above this method. This annotation is crucial for mapping incoming HTTP post requests to this particular method. For the specific endpoint, we will configure it to respond to requests directed to the path/save, thereby defining the precise URL where clients can send their data to be processed and saved. Here, outService.save username, email, password, and here return. Now, what we're doing here is taking the information here and, through the out controller, performing the relevant user save operation. Guys, this will perform the save operation. We don't have that here. Guys, we don't have Swagger. Let's proceed to integrate Swagger into our current development environment. It would be highly beneficial if we could incorporate the OpenAPI specification directly into our existing project structure, enhancing our API documentation and discoverability. As you know, guys, this will integrate our Swagger. Let's add the same thing into user profile and also add it to refresh. Now, the basic necessary things have been written. Okay. Everything is fine up to this point. This is a standard way of writing. But here's what to pay attention to. After the out controller completes the save operation, after it goes to the service and says, "Hey, can you save this? Something needs to be here." After saying just save this, there needs to be something here. Guys, here, out service should do this. It should communicate with Kafka and say, "Hey guys, I've saved this." let the others complete their operations as well. So, what do we need to do here? Here, guys, you need to know that this part is the producer. You need to carry out the operations through this part. So, how are we going to do this? You can do this in different ways, but what I generally recommend you do is this. You need to have a package, Kafka package. Inside this Kafka package, there's a base operation, producer. And if it's connected to consumers, that usually works too. Model, so you write these here, and actually, you continue your operations through them. So, what should we do here? What are we going to do here? Instead of console, we're going to make producers. So, in this part, what am I going to do with this? I'm saying, for this, I would add required constructor here, private final Kafka string, comma object, another backend template. What are we going to do here? We'll receive some information. For example, what kind of information here? I'm saying, for example, this is it. Send. And what is the out information? By saying this Kafka template.send, let's send this. So, where are we going to send this? We need to send this to a topic. For example, what? Like, out create topic. So, what is the key for this? What is the key? Let the key be 1, or let the key be create. What are we going to send? As you can see, with send out create through this service, I actually need to send this to Kafka. So, how are we going to do this? Here, guys, you need to add this. Private final out Kafka Producer. After this process is completed here, that is, after it is saved, you need to send it by saying kafka.sendout out here. Guys! So, when I create a new record like this, it will be sent to Kafka as a topic. It will be used there. After that, we need to do the same thing. Just as we sent it to the producer here, on the consumer side, in other words, on the user profile service side, we also need to fetch it. Guys. That's how the producer part works. We wrote its config. Of course, if you want, you can organize the config a bit more. You can change it further. You can set how it will connect, what the topic will be, what the topic's configs will be, how many partitions it will have, whether it will consist of a single segment. You can adjust all these. We showed those in our previous lesson. Here, I'll go with the default settings, so unless it's something extreme, unless it's really necessary, I'll continue like this. In the next lesson, we'll continue with console.